Hello everyone, it's great to see you all here. Today I'd like to educate you on natural hormones and how, if properly balanced, they can dramatically change your quality of life. I've changed my life, Dr. Reynolds has changed his entire life to try to get out the information on natural hormones. Let me start by telling you a story. When I was younger, I was very active in sports and working out, taking care of my body. And as I grew older and got into my late 30s and into my 40s, I started to have problems with energy levels and started having body aches, different types of side effects. And I started thinking that I had some type of problem, a disease or something like that. So I went to my general practitioner and asked him, doctor, can we run some tests and find out, what's going on here? I don't feel like myself. I have low energy. I'm taking naps during the day. I'm having all kinds of issues here. So the doctor ran some blood work and came back to me in a couple days and told me everything was fine. My blood work was fine. There was nothing wrong. And he just kind of made the comment that you're getting older. And at the time, I can remember, this was about 7 years ago, I can remember thinking, this can't be right. If this is the way you feel when you're 41 years old, then I don't know if I want to continue to get older. So 3 days later, Dr. Reynolds and I got together, and we got together for lunch, and I started discussing what was going on with my body, my energy levels, and everything else. And Dr. Reynolds asked me a question and asked me, have you had your hormones checked? And I said, well, wouldn't my general practitioner have done that, checked the blood work for hormones? And he said, not necessarily. So basically, what he did was he ordered some blood work, and we checked my hormones, and he gave me a call a couple of days later and told me, I think I know what's wrong with you. Your system's all out of whack, and your hormones are all out of whack. So I asked him, I said, what do I need to do at this point? Well, Dr. Reynolds said, well, let's get you on some hormone replacement therapy. So basically, we started the hormone replacement therapy. Probably 3 to 4 weeks later, started getting my energy levels back, my libido up, my joint problems started to subside, and from maybe 3 or 4 months, we kind of adjusted and tweaked my levels and got it up to a point to where I was feeling like I was 25, 26 again. So basically, that changed my life and kind of made it to where I decided to be involved with the center providing natural hormones. If it could help me, I know I could help other people feeling the same way and having the same symptoms. So basically, what are hormones? Hormones are like architects. If you can look at it from a standpoint of, say you're going to build a building or a city, and you want to build 50 buildings, and you have 50 architects helping you build the buildings. One architect for every building. And those buildings are going to be built pretty good, pretty well. Say you take away 50%, 90% of those architects. What's going to happen is the buildings are going to not be built the same. Things are going to fall through the cracks. It's not going to be the same as if you had 50 architects working on 50 buildings. That's kind of what we call aging. And your hormones start to decline, and you don't have as many hormones working on your body, rebuilding your body the way you want it, then you start to have problems. We're not meant to have stresses in our life. Let's see here. We're not meant to have stresses in our lives. Like we're not used, it shouldn't be like having stresses of bills and raising the kids, all the problems that we run into, the kids, the school, things like that. All those stresses put enormous amounts of stress on our lives, and what happens, our hormones pay for it. We're not meant to eat McDonald's and Burger King, and we're not meant to eat all the different fast foods. Why? Because the fast foods put stresses on us too, and our hormones pay for it. As we age, hormones decrease, and as we age, our vitamins decrease. We know that. The result is the body's being made in a less than efficient fashion. Your body is consistently being rebuilt. Over a 3-year period of time, they did an isotope study, and they showed that over 90% of our body is being rebuilt, torn down and rebuilt every 3 years. So what happens to our bodies? Why is it that our bodies don't look the same now as they did 3 years ago? What happens when you're going through menopause or your hormones are going through the tank and your body starts to remake itself? It's being remade in a worse than the fashion, a bad fashion. All of a sudden, the people start seeing osteoporosis, diabetes, arthritis, even cancer, and all the diseases we associate with aging. Why? Because you're low hormones. You're having low hormones. Okay, so Dr. Reynolds and I feel that this is a big problem with conventional medicine. A lot of doctors, conventional doctors, look at the thyroid level and they look at it as between 0.5 and 5. That's a normal range, in between 0.5 and 5. And also they look at testosterone levels as between 300 and 1,000 as being normal. So let's say you're a person that's been running at a thyroid of, say, 4.5 all your life, and you've been eating a certain way, you're not putting on any weight, you have plenty of energy. And then you start to put on weight, you're eating less and less, you're putting more weight on, so you start having problems. And you go to your doctor runs some tests, and he finds out your thyroid's at, let's say, 1. Well, if you were running at a 4.5 all your life, and the doctor finds you at 1, the doctor's going to come back and tell you that your hormones are fine because your levels are between 0.5 and 5. But you were used to running at 4.5. So the levels drop down to 1, it's going to change a lot of things inside your body, but the conventional doctor is not going to let you know that you're having a problem because it's falling in between 0.5 and 5. Same with testosterone. Testosterone, the conventional doctors talk about how between 300 and 1,000 is normal. Well, what if you're someone that's been running all your life at, say, 950, and it starts to decline and gets down to, say, 300? Well, that 300 is definitely not what you've been running on for the last, 10, 15 years of your life. So you're going to start to experience a lot of energy level problems. You're going to start getting tired during the day. Libido problems, you run into libido problems, joint problems. But if you go to your normal general practitioner, he's going to say that everything's normal. So what we do at Elite is we look at the whole story as far as what were you running on before, and we try to get you back to that level. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm feeling good at 900 to 1,000 of testosterone, and I would much rather be at that level than be at 300. There are 4 principal hormones we focus on. There's over 100 in our body, but we focus on these. Why? Because these are the ones that impact our lives the most. They're the ones that if you're missing them and you replace them, optimal levels, to optimum levels, they can make huge changes in the quality of life. Is testosterone the same for both men and women? Yes. Is estradiol the same for both men and women? Yes. So why is it that men and women are so different? The difference is the ratio. With a man, you want your testosterone level at a ratio of 40 to 1. So say you're at 800, you want your ratio to be around 20, 25. With the women, it's pretty much the exact opposite. So this is why men and women are so different. It's the ratios is the difference. For example, if a man would be at a testosterone level ratio of 40 to 1, and the level is at 1,000, would have an ideal estrogen level at around 25. That's the difference. We have the same chemicals in our bodies, but different ratios. So how about the perfect woman? It's the same way, except for the estrogen level would be a 40 to 1 ratio, the opposite side. So let's look at some principles of the sex hormones and their primary functions. Men, when you talk about testosterone, and we say testosterone is what makes a man, you lose about 2% of testosterone from the age of 25 on. So basically, when you look at maybe when you're about 50 years old, you've lost about 50% of your testosterone level by the time you're 50. If you don't do anything about that and supplement that testosterone, you start running into a lot of problems if you're about 50% of your testosterone's dropped. Another problem is, too, if you don't replace that testosterone, men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide due to depression if their testosterone level gets to that low. So that's something to think about. It's important to pay attention to your hormones. DHEA, for years we didn't know what it did, but recently we found that it actually helps in multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and other diseases. If you're low in DHEA, we are able to bring those levels up, and a lot of times those symptoms disappear. I'm not going to say that we're going to get rid of them completely, but they definitely are alleviated. DHT, dihydrotestosterone, what it is responsible for is the solar panels on the guys if they start getting receding hairline. Sometimes when the DHT gets too high, you start to lose your hair. Same with the woman, but it's more in the center of her scalp. She starts to lose hair. If it's too low, then it also affects libido in a man. If it's too high, it's a precursor to prostate cancer. So it's something that we need to definitely keep an eye on. Estradiol, why would we check that in a man? Because of the ratio, I tell you, it's an important ratio, meaning that estradiol rises high. For example, if estradiol in a man gets above 25, you start to see male pattern breasts, issues like that, because that's what develops breasts in a woman. So if your ratio, let's say your ratio of testosterone is at, say you're at 500 and your estradiol is at 100, that's way off from the 40-to-1 ratio that we want you to be at, but you're also getting the side effects from that. Also, the high estrogen would cause libido problems and increased abdominal fat and erectile dysfunction. So keeping an eye on estrogen levels in a man is very important. And we have some medication that keeps you, it's called anastrozole, keeps your estrogen levels at bay and keeps that ratio at a 40-to-1 ratio. So basically, progesterone serves as a precursor for women, not only to DHEA, but testosterone, estrogen, but also as a cortisol and the stress hormone. Progesterone, known as a calming hormone, helps convert fat into energy, regulates thyroid hormone production, helps reboot libido in women, and it's also a natural antidepressant. It aids in normalizing the blood clotting, helps to initiate sleep, and is a natural diuretic along with many other vital functions. So progesterone is real important for women, and to keep that in check is one of the most important for women. Okay, let's talk about the main symptoms of hormone imbalance. Low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, enlarged prostate, muscle loss, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and low energy in men. That's all caused by low testosterone. The only other things that is not involved with testosterone was, like I said, the development of breasts when you have a high estrogen, hair loss, high DHT. In women, hot flashes, low estrogen. Sometimes women go through 50 hot flashes a day, but they don't have to live that way. If we can get your estrogen level up, then we can completely get rid of hot flashes. Same as night sweats. It's the same as hot flashes, except that's when you're laying down. But we can also get rid of that with raising your estrogen levels. Insomnia, in many cases, we get your progesterone levels optimal. You'll sleep much better for women. Testosterone, this is actually the same as man's erectile dysfunction. The same hormone is needed for the woman to reach orgasm also. Unfortunately, there are women out there that because their hormones are out of whack, they just can't reach orgasm. But the good thing is we can, most of the time, fix that problem by getting their hormone levels back in check and their testosterone level up. So, mood swings. It's the same as common symptoms as menopause. Why? When you're no longer producing progesterone, your body is trying to compensate for what's missing. Once we get our progesterone back on optimal levels, mood swings tend to go away. Depression and anxiety are similar to mood swings. Get the progesterone level up and the depression and anxiety in many cases disappears. Weight gain, which is important. If we can get the estrogen and progesterone back in balance, it will help with excessive eating and help control weight gain. Fatigue, low energy in women as it is with men. The testosterone levels, if we can get those higher, we should see an increase in energy levels right away. As I said earlier, testosterone in men begins declining starting at around 25. When you begin losing this production, these symptoms begin to appear. Difficulty in achieving and sustaining an erection, decreased sex drive or activity, weight gain or difficulty losing weight, decreased strength or muscle size, persistent fatigue, difficulty concentrating, mood fluctuations. These are all caused by low hormonal function in men. So here's the big question a lot of women are worried about. Does estrogen cause cancer? Who in here thinks estrogen causes cancer? The answer is the answer is one particular type of estrogen does cause cancer. It's called estrone. It has been responsible for about 98% of cancer cases. Premarin, Prempac, Prempro, all are synthetic estrogens, are derived from horse urine and in the form of estrogen. These products, unfortunately, have shown not only to cause cancer, but has also caused heart attack, blood clotting, and stroke. So let's take a look at the screen. The X designates the bad cancer or the bad estrogen. So if, as a young woman, you produce a lot more of the good estrogen, which is the estriol, and so you move into perimenopause, you start to create and develop more of the bad estrogen. And then if you start taking the synthetic from the synthetic manufacturers, then you start to have more and more of the synthetics, which would then give you a much higher chance to get cancer. So if you wanted to go to the bioidenticals, then if you're, as a young woman, like I said earlier, you're going to have a lot less of the estrone and a lot more of the estriol, which is a good estrogen. Then you go through the perimenopausal stage, then you start to have more of the bad estrogen. But then if we can get you on bioidentical hormones, then you're going to start to develop and create more of the good estrogen, would then put you back into the safe zone of not being able, not having as much of a chance to have cancer. So that's real important for women because over the last 10 or 15 years, some of the manufacturers started putting out synthetic estrogen, and a lot of women were taking those and actually getting cancer from that. So if you stay away from the synthetics, you should be all right as far as going with the bioidenticals. So here's the formula for the chemical formulas for progesterone. The human hormone's the same or the bioidentical is the same as a human hormone, but then as you can see to the right, the synthetic hormone is a different chemical formula. So if you think about it, if you try to put that chain of those formulas together and you start throwing in the synthetics, then you're going to have some genetic problems, and that's going to then lead to cancer. So how does the bioidentical hormone replacement work? Basically, if you decide to take bioidenticals, our first stage would be to get your blood work done. That blood work would come back to us. The doctor takes a look at your blood work, figures out a good regimen for you, and then if you want to decide to go ahead and do it, we'll put you on a regimen and start you out with a certain amount of replacement that takes care of your deficiency. It doesn't end there, though. It's not all of a sudden you start taking something and everything's fine. What the doctor sometimes has to do, because everyone's different, everybody's body reacts differently to hormone replacement therapy. He may have to tweak it one way or another to get you to your optimal level for you. So someone else might have to take a little bit more of testosterone or a little bit less, but the doctor has to, he'll look at blood work. That's the good thing about getting testosterone therapy or hormone replacement therapy with the doctor is he's able to monitor your blood work and put you at safe levels for you. So the synthetics increase the risk of cancer, contain estrogen, progesterones that are foreign to the body. Like I said earlier, some use chemicals in pregnant mare's urine as a base and can cause weight gain, skin allergies, and other side effects. But bioidenticals, they don't do any of that. So you have 4 choices to try to take care of your hormonal imbalance. You can take herbal remedies, no testing available to determine individual needs, no cardiac or osteoprotection. It's a hit or miss on hormone levels needed and achieved. No follow-up or consultation to assess or adjust the amounts, the doses, because you're not taking any doses from a doctor. Symptoms may improve, but underlying imbalances remain. Your body still is having a problem producing it, so your symptoms will come back if you go off, stop taking the herbal remedies. So, and then with the conventional medicine, they treat the symptoms and not the problem. So antidepressants, anxiety medications, they start prescribing that. And like I said, what that does is it takes care of the symptoms, but it doesn't take care of the underlying problem. So that being said, if you wanted to, you guys have any questions for the doctor or any questions for me?
You can open the floor up now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. When you're testing for testosterone, what time of the day are you testing? You're doing it a couple times a day, early in the morning, late at night, because the levels change.
What testosterone?
In men.
You want to answer that, doctor?
Yeah, we usually start off baseline with the total testosterone. That level won't change. You're looking at free testosterone versus dry testosterone.
Yep.
Yeah, if you need to get that specific, you can. As a starting point, when you're looking at total testosterone, that's 200 or 300. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right. So time of day, we don't make anybody fast or time of day for their initial reads.
And after you start treatment, how does the blood work testing work? You test weekly?
What we do, the pellets are designed to last 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So we test about 10 weeks out. So right after you've peaked where you're going to be and before you start tapering off. So we try to see where your body's maintaining. So knowing that the half-life of the pellets that we use are 3 to 4 months, we'll keep the testing within that range. And then depending on your input as well, we draw the blood then and tweak them.
So you start with pellets, you don't start with any roll-ons or
We can.
shots or...
We do all of them.
Do all of them.
Here, speaking of to do the bioidenticals,
Right.
which are really to me the best way to do it. You can maintain, any of the synthetics work,
Right.
any of the roll-ons work, but you're kind of shooting in the dark. If you roll some on today, who's to say how much is going to get absorbed today versus tomorrow when you're sweating 80 degrees?
No, that's right.
So you can't control it. We have a lot of people who choose to do it that way. A lot of times their insurance will cover it that way, so we do it that way.
Okay.
But the more logical way, when you get to that point, is where I can control it exactly. I can put your numbers where we need them to be, and they'll maintain 3 to 4 months. Even if you do injections, it's once a week. You're therapeutic or subtherapeutic. You're therapeutic or subtherapeutic. 50% of the time is subtherapeutic.
Okay.
So you really don't have a control of it. You do have improvement.
Right.
But with the bioidenticals, you can kind of maintain. And again, the population that we seem to get more of that are the older people who don't want to take a shot a week.
Right.
When you're in your 30s, you can definitely do that. When you're in your 50s, you don't want to do that. You travel. This is maintained for 3 to 4 months.
I have a question. Canadian, been on TRT through a private clinic up there. Am I to assume the gel, is that a synthetic?
Absolutely.
Is the risk associated with testosterone the same as female risk with the synthetic?
Estrogen cancers are way more prevalent than any testicular cancers. Any synthetic always provides, it's not natural, So you get the benefit of it, but any synthetic is going to give you additional risk. It's not what the body's actually made. The bioidenticals are extracted from plant, and they're bioidentical to what the humans make. They're not synthesized in the lab. So testosterone itself isn't as risky as estrogen. But yes, there will be more side effects associated with the synthetic.
Is the 40-to-1 ratio as you increase? Because I found through the journey, it took weeks into it, always tested, and that ranged from 300 to 1,000. And my physician is obviously trying to find what works best for me. But as it increases on that side of the scale, will the estrogen level always go up with it?
Absolutely. Testosterone is a normal metabolism of it, break down into an estradiol component, which is an estrogen receptor. So your receptors in your body, the higher your testosterone will be, the higher the byproduct of breakdown.
So very important to ensure that the 40-to-1 ratio is
and that ratio too, as you get higher up as well. Like me personally, I kind of target that. I don't let the estradiol levels in males get above 30. That's when you'll start getting tenderness, sensitivity. So I keep you between 25 and 30. So some people have happier testosterone levels at 1,100. Some are 900. I ballpark everybody to be right around 1,000. I find that's the optimal feeling for most people. Yours may be 1,100, yours may be 900, but ballpark there. But if you're at 1,000 and your estrogen levels are 35, I'd give you something. If you're 25, I'd say sit tight and pay attention to it. So I keep everybody under 30 so I can find out. So depending on where you want to live, that ratio will tweak a little bit as well.
Do you supplement with like that DIM, or would you go directly off pharmaceutical?
You can substitute them first. I don't jump to the pharmaceuticals. I'm a pharmacist as well as a physician. I don't know if that plays a role with it, but I'm not quick to jump to the pharmaceuticals. I try to learn the picture. With the pharmaceuticals, there are more side effects associated with that. You definitely get the benefit, and usually people do it because their insurance covers it. I mean, if I can write the prescription and your insurance should cover it, you'll gladly do that quicker than you would, come in 3 times a year to have a procedure done. So, I mean, it's a anti-aging thing that's more and more acceptable, and insurances are starting to get on board. They see, one of the big things I can comment and say is the people that come to us that aren't on them, that say in their 50s and above, within 3 months, they come off antidepressants, they come off all this other stuff. Like I said, you increase lean body mass. If you're borderline diabetic, that improves. If you're borderline hypertensive, it improves. I mean, your state of life is improving. So a lot of these centers now, or insurance places, will consider helping you. We have a couple people that they'll reimburse part of it, but not the whole thing. The trend is definitely being more and more accepted.
So where's the pellet? You putting a pellet in?
Yeah, just like you get a shot, same
Shot.
place. For women, it's always a funny story. Women, their testosterone levels, we keep less than 100, men we keep around 1,000.
Yeah.
So the number of pellets is equal to a woman comes in, it was so easy, it's simple. Their pellets literally are about as thick as your fingernail
Right.
and a small pebble. Yours is about the size of a pellet, a rabbit pellet.
Right.
You get 10 to 12 of them.
Wow.
So big difference. But very easy. The only thing you feel for mine is a shot. I numb you with the shot. So you feel the shot once you're numb. I use a little bit of a bigger needle, it's called a trocar, but a little bit of a bigger needle, then I insert the pellets in. But yeah, you basically get a shot in your upper hip.
How long have you been on testosterone?
Personally?
Personally, yeah.
I'm 52 years old.
Yeah.
Shoot, legally or illegally. And when I was an athlete growing up, so we
Right.
all of us have tried some testosterone
Sure.
growing up, not knowing what we were doing, did the synthetics. But yeah, as an adult, last 8 years.
8 years. Any side effects that you could talk about that?
I would say no side effects. Again, at our age now, we're not shooting for these super therapeutic levels. We're all in maintenance levels. So, our labs specifically read between 350 and 1,200.
Okay.
I stay at around 1,000. So, yeah, I've had no side effects at all. Great, attributes from that. If I go longer before I get treated, you can definitely feel, focus ability, fatigue ability.
Sure.
I mean, it's amazing how quickly these things kick on and off. And again, very different thing. I've done the injections before, and I feel much better with the pellets than I do the injections. They all work, but the logic makes sense. With the injection, I can't maintain a therapeutic level. Injections you're supposed to give, people usually give them once a week, but literally it'd be calculated out to your bioavailability of your body, be 3.4 days exactly to stay within the half-life to keep it up. Who does that? So half the time when you do the injection, you're definitely better, but you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. With the bioidenticals, you're even 3 to 4 months.
I can see that personally as an advantage, because I know
Huge.
myself, I get tested I have some thyroid disease too, so I get tested every 3.5 to 4 weeks.
Sure.
Constant blood work, and I can see
Right, away.
so it all depends on the day, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean, if I slap it on and go kayak.
That's exactly right.
it's got-
And to me, the roll under the least effective for that reason you said. You know, say I put 2 inches on the day, well, you were cold that day, your 40% showing up versus you were sweating that day. You have no control. And the same with the pharmaceuticals. Like Permanent used to be a big one for women. But again, Permanent came in 3 doses. I don't care if you're 5 foot tall, 6 foot tall, 100 pounds, 300 pounds. One pill, you take it. One pill, you take it. Here, we tailor this to you specifically. Here's your, you give me your symptoms, you give me your height, your weight, your testosterone level. I target it to you specifically. Like I said, we have some people that live at 1,100, some live at 900. It's tailored to you. So 1,000 is our rough average, but each one's tailored. You and I would have a conversation every 3 or 4 months. Oh yeah, doc, I felt great. And what's the first thing you felt? Well, I noticed myself getting a little more tired, or my focus, started to slip. But you notice it yourself usually before I do. Then you tell me, oh, okay, then we need to do you at 3.5 months, or we need to do it 3 months, or we made it to 4 months. I mean, those little tweaks go as we go along.
Do you find it important to check cortisol and growth hormone, thyroid levels?
You can handle it. I mean, we check thyroid levels because that's just often so missed. We don't routinely check the cortisol, which you can, but then you're doing more timing of it and time of day and all that, and depends on what their symptomology is. Like I said, as a general start, most people we start with just a general blanket of your testosterone, your thyroid, looking for an explanation of why you're feeling the way you do. A lot of times you need to add the growth hormone in or the cortisol levels, but you're looking for different avenues, and those are all personal ones to each person. You can even look at some of the vitamin D. That's another level that plays a role, especially in Ohio. If you're buried indoors a lot of the winter time, that can definitely play a role.
Continue this 30 years from now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, 30 years ago, we weren't talking about this.
Yeah, that's right.
And you guys remember that 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and then you talked about that side, your roid raging, or it's
Yeah.
very well accepted now. In the industry, they call it menopause.
Yeah.
Very, very real. I mean,
I know, I started in July last year.
how old are you?
I'm 50.
Yeah.
And I feel,
Night and day.
oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
night and day.
Awesome.
I mean, the stories I think of, I talk to a lot of my patients today, but everybody gives you different symptoms, which is very interesting to hear. One lady specifically, she would come in, just inadvertently, she's saying, she went to stand up to, excuse me, I could take me a few extra minutes, I need 2 total knee surgeries. That's all right. And she was in there with energy and can't sleep well, and just tired all the time. After like 3 weeks on it, she came in, she threw her pencil down, she goes, watch this, doc. Picks up, she goes, they were lying to me, I don't need 2 total knees. They weren't lying, you still need them, you just feel a lot better. So just the aches and pains, I mean, this is one of the things I felt too. I have children, I was involved in coaching. I could still get down and do 50 push-ups, like you did when you're 20, but my elbow would hurt, my shoulder would hurt. The aches and pains go away. I mean, again, basically what we're doing is putting your internal levels back at 19 years old. There's no reason, because you're 50, you have to live at 8 to 50. Our bodies weren't designed to live 80, 90, 100 years. We are now. So at middle age, there's no reason we can't feel better. So part of the anti-aging is truly preserving what the youth was, putting those levels back, and they're in a healthy level. We're not, super therapeutic. You stay within your ranges, it's healthy, it's fine, and you feel great.
Like I said earlier, if you became insulin dependent and you became a diabetic, would you take insulin? Of course. So we look at it from a standpoint of if you need hormones, why not replenish your hormones the same way? As long as it's safe, as long as it's not too much, put you in a level of heart problems or high cholesterol levels or something like that, if we can keep it safe.
I was interested when I saw your range on the TSH for the thyroid, because I find that when I have had the opportunity to attend things like this, the school's out on that one. Some folks are saying 0.3 to 3, some folks are, it's all
they're
over
different.
that.
Well, and again, in different labs use different units too, so don't buy, each lab, again, some use picograms, some use micrograms, so you kind of got to pay attention to your lab. So the lab that we generally use most is LabCorp, but we still have labs come in from different hospital labs, and you just kind of have to know that. Not that either one's wrong, but yeah, you're right. When it comes to that, the way they even come up with these averages are, they test 1,000 people who claim to be normal and just give you a broad range. That doesn't mean you can't be the outlier of that range. So you're right, it is a broad range, and it's still a loose science, and probably your general doctors, family docs, don't know what to do with that. You know, so again, you could be a low normal, and then say the same thing with testosterone. You came in and tested at 400. They say, oh, you're fine, your blood work's fine. You know, he and I have been friends for a couple of decades, but this is what kind of brought us together. He's like, dude, he goes, I've been to different doctors, you know. Trust me, I feel like crap. He goes, nobody finds anything.
Well, as you're aware, in my country, we have free healthcare. And what I found very interesting was I was going to, you know, my general practitioner with symptoms. I was referred to an endocrinologist. Whack a blood work done, and exactly to your point, he's normal. And I had to actually go to, you know, more of an American system and go to private healthcare, a corporate facility, in order to have somebody really pay attention, because you know, I mean, God bless the endocrinologist, but at the end of the day, he's looking at a chart and he's going normal.
Right.
And I'm sitting here saying, dude, I can't get out of bed anymore.
Right.
And you could have been, like I said earlier, you could have been all your life at one level and got used to that and ate a certain way, and you know, and everything went fine. And then when that level goes down, you know, you're feeling the difference, right? You're feeling the side effects and the, you know, symptoms of that. So they don't even know what you used to be running at when it comes to thyroid or testosterone. So that's the problem. They're just trying to put you in a big.
So you got to get somebody who kind of knows this arena.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's hard to do, even in medicine. I mean, I meet a lot of doctors that have no clue. I mean, usually lead by example. Find a doctor that used to work out. Find a doctor that played sports. Usually they know a little bit more.
Actually, you're right.
Oh, for sure.
That's true. And a lot of them, they don't want to hear that word, testosterone.
Yeah, the minute you
Right,
say
And
the
then you
taboo.
said,
The
whoa, my MD was like, wait,
Yeah.
no.
As a pharmacist, I did my thesis
Right.
on hormones, steroids.
Yeah.
You know, picture that back in those days.
Yeah.
You're no wonder, you know, you wrestle, you're on steroids, you're really great, you know, bad. You couldn't even tell. You didn't have a discussion.
Well, that's the same. The minute you walk in, and it's a general practitioner, and they know you. They look
You're
at you
seeking
going,
this, yeah, you're on
You're
steroids.
just trying to get yoked up,
Right.
right?
Right.
Well, it's interesting. It's nice to see this stuff.
It should be growing. It's getting more and more acceptable today. I mean, people realize, you know, it's a reality. Men's hormones, you know, taper. Just like how Dan mentioned there too. If you're diabetic, people always ask me, is this something you got to be on for life? You don't have to. You know, you're going to eat healthy the rest of your life. You don't have to. You want to feel good? Sure. You know, if you want to not take your insulin and you need it, you're going to have fun. If your body's not making it, it's a supplement that you should put yourself on. As we age, this is all anti-aging. You got to make up for what your body's not producing. And you can do it in a natural way.
And the procedure for these pellets,
15 minutes.
in and out, bang.
And a woman, 5 minutes. Like I said, if a woman gets 1, 2, or 3 puffs, a man gets 10 to 12. And it's just a matter of number. When you put them in like this small needle here, I put 2 in here, 2 in here, 2 in here, 2 in here. But it's the same one spot, the needle never comes out. Very simple and easy. And it lasts, like I said, 3 to 4 months. So, you know, 3 to 4 times a year is your treatment. We're driving in from Canada.
That you know.
Oh,
From
for sure.
Windsor?
No, Alberta.
Okay.
Oh, it's a longer drive.
Yeah, that's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A little longer than longer.
If you went to your regular MD and you want, like, say, insurance, and you want to get a test ahead of time before we came in to see you, what would be the test to ask for?
We have a panel that we have
You have a-
specified. It's not just one, it's a kind of a panel. I can give that to you.
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of docs now too that know I do this. And,
Right.
Yeah, I'm an anesthesiologist by board, so I still work in surgery. So I'm around a lot of different people. I'm around a lot of the doctors that know nothing about this. But they know enough now to talk to me. They go, I've got 2 clients that have come to me, help me get started, what test do I, and these are doctor tests, so I order it, help me review these. So they're opening to it. That's because they have personal access to me. So again, a doctor that doesn't know it's probably not going to refer you to somebody else. They won't lose you.
No, that's right.
So they're just going to say, oh, we don't want to do that. So you just got to find somebody who, you know.
I'm going to inquire about the pellets for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And
And
what's
you want
cool is
those,
if they don't have it in my province, you can come self-report, they'll cover you. They'll send you wherever you need to go.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
you want the bioidentical.
Yeah, so exactly.
Right, because you know, they have pellets that are synthetic from farms, so you don't want that. So the bioidentical, yeah, much healthier.
Made from yams.
We have people that drive from out of state, from all over.
So I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a few times a year.
Just got time to run your exchange rate.
Right.
It's a $400 bed.
Rob, how you- Rob's feeling a little bit better, aren't you?
Are you in Columbus?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.